Well, this is take two because I left out some bullet points. Okay, this is my testimony of what Jesus Christ has done for me in my life. Please forgive and the quality of the video or the quality of the audio because I'm using my stinking phone, my Obama phone. Thanks, Obama. And there's cars driving by. So, anyway, I've been through a lot the past. I'm 25 now, so I don't want to say the past 25 years because I can't even account for what I did when I was 1. But when I was a kid, about 8, I started thinking about what happens when we die, and I don't know why. And what came to my mind is that when you die, it's utter darkness. And that terrified me. And I don't know why a kid would be thinking that. And so growing up at a very early age, there was a lot of sexual immorality between me and my siblings. There's 5 of us children, and it's unfortunate that it happened, but it did happen, and it just goes to show you the sinfulness that we all live in before Christ calls us. And I thank God every single day that He took me out of there. Anyway, but yeah. And my dad doesn't believe in God, and my mom never really talked about God, except one time. I remember when I was a kid, she said, "You know why you're sick?" Because I was sick, and I said, "Why?" And she said, "You could blame Adam and Eve for it." So I thought that was pretty funny now when I think about it. But anyways, like I said, I thought that when we die, it's just darkness and that's it. And my dad doesn't believe in God, and being a child, you'd look up to your parents, so I took on that viewpoint as well, that there was no God. And I lived that way, obviously. The sexual immorality between us siblings. I was very rude to animals, to where I won't even discuss it. I was very rude to insects, and you don't think you'd be sad over what you did to an insect, but it still kind of haunts me to this day, what I did to insects. It's just rude, they're living creatures too. My mom's side of the family are religious. They're Mormon, and every time we visited them, which is quite frequently, they always try to push God on us, and so they kind of distance us away from God, which I found a lot of people turn away from God because their family pushed it on them, which is sad. It goes to show you what religion does, but eventually my mom and my dad get a divorce, and my older brother and my baby sister turn to drugs and alcohol. My older brother goes to juvenile. We move, my dad and I, we moved to another state with my baby brothers, and I turned to food as a comfort. And there was a hole in my heart that I believe every single individual on this planet has. And I tried to fill this hole in my heart with anything from pornography to food to video games to suppress everything. All the wrong that I did in my past, with the animals, with the insects, with my siblings, just all the bad things that I'd done, eventually voices in my head started accusing me constantly to where I couldn't think clearly. And the voices got so bad, where I started audibly rebuking them, saying, "No, stop it." And my family took notice, or at least my baby brother took notice, and he probably thought I was crazy. But the voices were just so bad to where I wanted to kill myself. Not only because the voices were so loud and so many, but because the wrongs that I did to my brothers and sisters, unfortunately, and not just me, them and I, of course, and the wrongs I did to animals to where, I went into the kitchen at probably 16 or 15 and put the biggest knife we had on my abdomen, just waiting to plunge it in. I've stayed underwater as long as I could until I had to gasp for air. My dad was driving on the highway and I had my hands on the door and I just wanted to open it and jump out. And just lots of other things. But I never did it. And when I didn't do it, the voices in my head would call me, a PUSS, that, or a chicken shh. And it was just horrible. And to suppress all that, I played video games hours on end. I'd probably play video games for just a whole day. Actually, probably 22 hours out of the day, I'd play video games. And I'd look at pornography like I said, to fill that hole. But you know, just like Scripture says, everything is temporary. And when I was done with the pornography, and when I was done with the video games, or when I was done with the food, I would have those voices would come back accusing me, and I'd just be in total hell again. And eventually, I go to jail because of the wrong I did in my past. You know, my past caught up with me, and I thank God that it did, because now I didn't have to hold it in anymore. But there was this individual who came up to me, and he didn't try to push God on me. You know, he's like, if you want, you know, he's like, if you want to, you know, just come by and, you know, we can study the Word together. And for the past 3 weeks, I ignored him. But one day, you know, I felt that I need to go over to him, and he shared something with me in a book, and it's a secular book from a Christian author. But nonetheless, you know, what it said was, Jesus doesn't care what you look like, what you've done in your past, who you are. He loves you for you. And I broke down crying in tears for that. And when Christ saved me, I didn't need to take depression pills anymore, or anxiety pills. I saw value in myself. I was able to forgive myself for my past and all I'd done. And all those voices in my head vanished. And my mind has not been so much clearer. It's so quiet. It's like, I can't even describe it. Unless you've experienced it, just all the voices in your mind, just constant. And then now it's just like peace. It's hard to describe unless you've experienced it yourself. But ever since Christ saved me, life has been extremely good. And I thank God every single day for it. And I thank Him just to be able to wake up and just enjoy creation that He's made for all of us. I am so thankful that He showed me mercy to call me and to save me, to forgive me of all my sins. Knowing that, I'm just very thankful. So hopefully that all made sense. Hopefully it was coherent. This is take 2. You may not know that, or you may know. So, any hoopulation, thank you for listening, and goodbye. Yes.